Hey everyone, Telios here. This is going to be the mid-regular combat, and I'm going to be using my First Order team, which will consist of Kylo Ren Unmasked, Kylo Ren, First Order StormTrooper, First Order TiePilot, and First Order Officer. This team will be all gear 12.5 plus. They all have tier 6 mods, and my team has Zetas on all of the characters. So this is about aside from the G13 finishers, this is about a very, very top end First Order team. So here are the mods for Kylo Ren Unmasked. Here are the mods for Kylo Ren. Here are the mods for First Order StormTrooper. Here are the mods for First Order TiePilot. And here are the mods for First Order Officer. So one of the reasons that I like to run this team, first of all, is because I've invested all of the Zetas. I've had these characters built for quite a long time, and I think it's overall a really good team. I use First Order StormTrooper. I'll continue that thought in a second. I'm going to use, right away, I'm going to give Kylo his stun, and I'm going to go ahead and stun the Clone Sarge. We basically have triple tank here, plus the medic, so I'm not really scared of anything aside from the DPS from the Clone Sarge. So I'm going to work on the medic, and eventually I will call in the bot who's going to go ahead and cleanse everything. I'm going to take down the medic, and then I'll take down the Sarge, and that will pretty much be kind of a nice easy cleanup for this fight. So as I was saying before, I've had this team built for a long time, and I know there are a lot of variations on this, but this happens to be the one that works for me. You notice that I use First Order Officer to actually feed turn meter to Kylo Ren Unmasked. One of the tricks to running this team is you want Kylo Ren Unmasked to stun a lot. So you want to keep buffs up on First Order TiePilot if you can, but it's way more important for you to be controlling the pace of every part of this battle with Kylo Ren Unmasked. It's really important that the clones don't get to do very much, and that lets the natural healing of this team kind of come through. That's one of the reasons I like to use the First Order StormTrooper is his, not only does he taunt to take some heat off of the rest of the team, his ability to spread defense up is very important, as well as that buff actually applying the protection regeneration for the rest of the team. So you could definitely replace First Order Officer with someone like First Order Executioner. I thought about running Phasma in this team as her buffs are pretty good. And then I've also thought about running the First Order Special Forces TiePilot because I think Phasma plus First Order Special TiePilot is a really good combo because you get the speed up on your team and the speed down on the enemy, which I think in combination with Kylo means your team is just going to go a lot. It's like a chainsaw team. Your team just goes over and over and over and over again. The only thing that it's really missing is actually some sort of TM removal from the other team. But I think even in that case, it doesn't honestly matter. That combination, I think, would give you, probably 2 to 3 turns a piece before the enemy ever went, which gives you a really long buffer to kind of figure out your target order plus Kylo locking characters down, or both Kylos rather locking characters down. So that's definitely something to consider, but those are 2 characters that I don't have built. I have Phasma, but I don't have the First Order Special Forces TiePilot, so it's not something that I've experimented enough with at the moment for me to be comfortable running it. So you notice I actually let the medic revive Um, and that's kind of an interesting thing that I've noticed is that the medic damages itself quite a bit when it revives. So actually letting it get a revive off and putting that on cooldown is nice for you because it removes 50% of the medic health, which you don't have to worry about. So it kind of damages itself, and now it's on cooldown, so he's not going to be able to revive anyone. And this team is mostly locked down. In my other videos, I've kind of commented on the Jedi Guardian. This thing is useless. This character just in general is terrible. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do any damage. It basically just exists. So I'm not going to do anything other than basic down the Guardian here because it's no threat at all. So kind of what I was saying before, your Kylo Ren Unmasked needs to be in really good mods, and he needs to be very, very tanky in order for you to use him in Geo territory battle at all. On top of that, your Kylo Ren, you have to use Kylo Ren in this team because he generates so much turn meter. I've kind of discussed with other people before whether or not we think he's an essential part of this team, and I absolutely think that he is. The amount of turn meter generation that he brings is not something that you can ignore. So this is a really difficult one for me to kind of figure out what to do. You never want ARC Trooper to go because if he starts putting his entrench on people, you're going to have a really bad time. But you also kind of want to lock down pawns. But you have to take out clones Sarge. So this is kind of a really bad mix of clones for me. I'm going to be okay because we're still in the early phases here, but if this was phase 4, I would be in huge trouble because that clone sergeant would have done like half the life to my team kind of all at once. So luckily for me, it's not that early on. Or I'm not in the later phases of this, and I'm going to be able to regenerate basically everything, and probably take out Clone Sergeant before he does any substantial damage to the rest of my team. I don't like that there's crit up on everyone, so I'm going to try to control this a little bit better. I'm going to start taking care of pawns, but I'm going to stun the ARC Trooper as soon as I can. Again, his entrench is really scary. These two guys are basically a support and a tank. So once I can take out pawns and once I can take out the ARC Trooper, I think this will be pretty straightforward. Now, you notice pawns healed a lot right there. He's kind of annoying to actually kill. I think the next buff that I get, I'm going to put it on my first order TiePilot so I can get some more damage rolling. This is what I was kind of hoping to avoid, was him hitting the rest of my team, but now that we've got him taken care of, this is basically just kind of a cleanup. So I want to try to remove the rest of the buffs from the team. I want to start spreading remove the rest of the debuffs, and I want to start spreading buffs to the rest of the team. And I'm going to take out the commander first here, because this is basically a support character, and then we'll just work on the tank. So everybody is basically at full health and protection here, so this is almost an auto to the end, kind of as we push towards the last wave. So this has been my experience in the earlier waves, is that this team does really, really good. This team at high gear in early phases does really, really well. But what we're going to see is that wave 4 of any of the phases, from phase 1 all the way to phase 4, the last wave is a total crapshoot. Sometimes you'll just get like several elite clones and you can't do anything. For instance, if you get an elite ARC Trooper and you have like 3 or 4 of the clones entrenched at the very start, you're going to be in a world of problems because you can't generate enough damage to kill them before they kill you. So again, we have like Ayala. We have 5s and his elite buff, which is all the clones gain flat defense. which is not necessarily a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and stun. I'm going to go ahead and stun Arc Trooper. I really, really want to try to control Arc Trooper. And I think we're going to have to attempt to take out Medic. So I'm going to go ahead and feed Kylo Ren Unmasked turn meter right away in an attempt to get his him reset, because at some point we're going to have a taunt on the Vanguard, and that's we actually have double taunt here, which is going to be quite a problem. And Vanguard is going to be countering and applying exposes when he counters. So I really have to take care of him and get this taunt off. I could be attacking the other clone trooper, but it doesn't do me any good because the other clone trooper also has he has retribution and taunt. So now that we've got that cleared up, I am going to feed Kylo Ren more turn meter, and I think we actually have to take out the clone trooper medic here. The ARC Trooper is super tanky. Clone Trooper is a tank. You're not going to take out fives. I could choose to go for Ayala first, but we can't attack Ayala until we can shut down, until we can shut her down with stuns. So I don't really have too much of a choice besides taking out Medic. And this is the fear is, of course, we have Entrench and it's on the Vanguard. So unfortunately, we can't have Kylo Ren Unmasked stunned. That's just not okay. So I'm going to stun Ayala. Kylo Ren Unmasked is going to be fine because he doesn't take bonus damage from percent damage. So as long as I can get a cleanse on the Vanguard when his turn comes around and he taunts, I think I should, generally speaking, be okay. Of course, Vanguard just did an AoE there, which is definitely not something that we want. I'm going to feed TM to First Order Stormtrooper for a couple reasons. I want him to recover some of that health and protection again, because we really don't want him to go down as he's taking a bunch of damage for the team. And then we also want to make sure that he has the ability to apply defense up. So here's that problem that I was talking about, where if you can't stun Ayala, you're in a really bad spot. So yeah, so if you can't stun Ayala, you're in a really bad spot. I did go ahead and apply the buff block to the clone that I have stunned over there. Yeah, I'm kind of in trouble here because I have to be able to get around Vanguard, and him being able to lay down damage like this without me being able to control him is really bad. And on top of that, he's entrenched. So like, yeah. But I also need to take out Ayala, otherwise she's going to get out of control. So now that I have less characters, every stun that she can land is like a huge deal, like a really big deal. So I have to take her out in order to make sure that she can't lay as many stuns down. So the next thing that we have to do is we have to take out ARC Trooper. There's really no choice in taking out ARC Trooper because we can't allow him to apply entrenched really to anyone else. We're going to be in really bad shape if he has the ability to apply entrenched to the rest of the team. So I think we're going to it's going to be pretty close here. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can, yeah, it didn't land it. I was going to try to buff block the clone trooper in the back again to make sure that he can't taunt when his turn comes around. But I think we're going to actually lay enough damage down to kill ARC Trooper. And eventually that means that we're going to be able to basically control the rest of this fight. So you can see that even in phase 2 here, this isn't a walk in the park. So this isn't like some G11 team with sketchy mods. This is like top of the line first order team. Like if you could run first order in arena, this would be what I would consider an arena grade team. So this is just the Geo territory battle is just really, really hard. They have tons of defense, tons of tenacity. So yeah, with that being said, this should be pretty much a walk in the park from this point onward. I'm going to take out the Jedi Vanguard. We're just going to completely ignore 5s until the Vanguard is down. And then this will be pretty much just an auto. Between the turn meter generation, resetting cooldowns from First Order Officer, there's really not anything that I have to worry about at this point. And we'll keep 5s stunned the whole time, so this is pretty much a done deal here. Yeah, so we'll just let this play out, and that'll be the phase 2 mid-combat regular battle with First Order. All right. And that is the end of that.